Well, hello and welcome along to our analytics half an hour. This afternoon, we're going to tackle links to external sites. This is an issue that affects any business that's part of a value chain. So a business that's got a number of other businesses that it perhaps cooperates with or owns or whatever. So a business that isn't in isolation. Now, what we're going to talk about is the fact that businesses tend to be linked together. They are linked together and they have links on their websites that link them together. And sometimes these external links are called outbound links. And they tend to be the unloved cousin of the inbound link, which is much loved by SEO practitioners. So we'll look at why external links can be very valuable in business terms and why the usage is therefore worth tracking. Okay. Now, just to introduce me, I'm Vernon Riley. I'm a chartered mechanical engineer and I've spent my career working with systems. So I apply engineering insights to ensure the measurement and reporting systems work and go alongside analytics that's tailored to fit business. Just a word about the interface in your browser. If you're watching this live, it's fairly simple. To the right of the main window, there's a sidebar. One of the tabs is a chat window, and in that you can post messages to me and I can post messages back. I'll do my best to keep up with the messages, but obviously, as you'll understand, I can't necessarily read all of the messages while I'm concentrating on talking to everybody else. So if you've heard this and you want to type in a question or a comment, then feel free to do so. Maybe we'll deal with it whilst we're going along. Maybe we'll deal with it at the end. But that's it. So with that, we'll get going. So I say that's what I do, and there's your chat window that you should be seeing. Okay, so we're going to look at external links. Why does it matter to business? What does best practice measurement look like? And how would this impact your business? Well, what sort of business would be interested in external links? Now, I wrote a fairly long blog post on this recently, so I'm not going to cover it in exhaustive detail, but I'll give you some examples. Maybe you're a manufacturer. If you're a manufacturer, it's likely that you've got distributors and retailers who sell your product to either other businesses or to consumers. In this case, you're likely to have links on your website that refer the visitor to your website to another website, another place where they can perhaps buy your products or services. And the fact that that can happen has got an obvious economic benefit. Perhaps you own and run a franchise. Or thinking of owning and running a franchise. In this case, the value of the franchise and of each region that's licensed is going to be dependent in part on the amount of business that each franchisee can transact. And it's often the case that the franchise owner has responsibility for some national marketing. So the national marketing has an objective to boost the potential turnover of franchise holders. So you want your national website to have outbound links to each franchisee. Another example, perhaps you're on a portal or a comparison site. Now, it doesn't have to be the size of comparethemarket.com for insurance, for there to be good economic reasons why you want to know how much business you're sending to each of the clients. After all, they're likely to be people who are paying you one way or another to appear on your portal, on your comparison site. And you want that value to increase. So you want to know how much business or how many visitors are being sent to a client website. Now, those are three slightly more detailed examples. Other things, affiliate schemes, educational colleges, local government, all sorts of things. In fact, any or most types of business that don't exist in isolation, right? Because it's often the case that businesses are part of a value chain, part of a customer journey, and the customer needs a range of things in order to satisfy the needs. So if we're going to implement best practice, we'll want to know, as a minimum, which of the partner external sites, the links, were most popular in a particular time frame, and where did the people come from, who went to each of those particular external sites that we've listed on our website. Okay, now I've constructed a simple example and enlisted the help of my proprietary robot army again, which we'll use in most of the webinars in this series. That's our tool set that sends visitors to web pages in a way that will be seen by Google Analytics, and we can control absolutely what each visitor does. Now, in this example, like the one we had last time, I'm looking at the user flow. So within the audience section, the user flow, and the user starts by going to a landing page on the left in white. Then they move to a download page. Sorry, they start at the left, then they go to the landing page, then they move to the downloads page, and you'll see a red bar, right? A lot of the people who are on the downloads page in this example disappear, right? Now, that includes all of the people who go to the external sites. They follow these outbound links. So you may be asking, why did Vern bother showing a particular screen that doesn't tell us what we want to know? Well, the reason is I want to make a serious point that the visitors who are going to an external page, that's a page that isn't on your site, won't normally be captured by Google Analytics. So we're going to have to do something a little special. We're going to have to make sure that we capture and distinguish the numbers of visitors going to each of the external sites we're interested in from those who just bounce off the site to somewhere else on the internet. And we'll have to make sure that that finds its way into our Google Analytics account. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Well, without going into too many technical details, we're going to make use of something called Google Analytics events, right? This is something that happens, that gets raised when a user clicks on a particular item, right? So it indicates a user response. In some circumstances, the user response might be called a micro conversion, right? And events might be goals, or they might be less important than goals, or a building block toward a goal or an objective, right? Now, how do we do this? Well, you can put direct JavaScript into the page. You can use JavaScript libraries like jQuery. You can use other libraries that separate you from the code, like the Google Tag Manager, for instance. But enough of that. We're not here to do the technology this afternoon. We're here to talk about the business implications of good best practice reporting. Okay, so let's delve into what we need to know, having put in place this measurement using Google Analytics goal events. Okay, so here, looking at the behavior area of the Google Analytics user interface, you'll see that we've got a category called Outbound Referral, and I've concentrated. You'll see at the top, the page is downloads.php. So I've got rid of all of the other pages. I'm just interested in this page and what the events that are being raised on this page. And Outbound Referral, it's an arbitrary name, and I've used that to segregate this kind of event from all of the other sorts of event that we might be capturing. For instance, we'll look at video and other sorts of events that you might capture in future sessions. And as you'll see, we've got a pattern of events sprinkled across a number of days. But thus far doesn't tell us a great deal. But hang on, we'll now go into a bit more detail. So what I've done now is move from event category to event action on the same screen as the primary dimension. And now I've got an event action called brochure download. Now, this is because in this example, I've assumed that the people are going to this external site to download a PDF, right? Now, clearly, if they weren't going there to download a PDF and they were going there to do something else, that wouldn't be an appropriate way to name it, right? And each of event category, event action, and event labels are named according to your choice, right? So you can call them whatever makes sense in your situation. And ideally, you'll set up a naming convention. that's appropriate to your circumstances. That's a set of rules that everybody can follow when they're creating events for your website. And I've put in place a secondary dimension, that button there, right, of event label. And you'll see, although they're not in order because they're listed by the order of the events, we've got products D, E, and F. Right now, if I'd got real external websites, I might have used my naming convention and said, well, I'll put the name of the company in there. So I might have company A dash product D, or company B slash product F, or whatever. Yeah. So I can get a picture, right? This report is telling me, fulfilling one of the objectives that we had, which is which of the outbound links are most popular, right? And also within our naming convention, telling us which business, which client to which it refers to. So back to the affiliate, the portal, the very top. So you list the franchisees or whatever, and you put that into your naming convention, you put that into your events, and then your report comes out and it's got meaningful names in, right? So you're getting the popularity of the outbound links to particular resources on your partner websites. Okay. Now, I go on to extend the analysis, right? We've looked at the particular external resource, right? And we've asked the question, where did those visitors come from? So I picked the event label, right, as the primary dimension. And the secondary dimension, I've picked source / medium, right? And I've got a list of these, and I've got the number of events that are related to each source. So if you were setting out to do a number of marketing events, run different campaigns, right, or you got a number of events within a single campaign, providing you get the information in there as to what the source and the medium, you start to be able to break down which activity was most effective in driving people to make use of the particular link to the particular partner that got to the resource, right? So we're answering the second objective. Okay, we know which links are the most popular, but where did the people come from? So if we want to find more of them, what do we have to do, right? Now, you'll see, once you've got this information as a business owner, a business person, you're going to be in a really good position to create the continued discussions with each of these people who own the external sites, right? Sometimes there may already be formal relationships. The franchisee is an obvious case in point, but sometimes they may be businesses, organizations with which you don't yet have a formal relationship. And this kind of information could be the basis on which you spawned that discussion. You got it going and you were able to go to this business and say, I'm able to send you, because you perhaps keep this last one close to your chest, I'm sending you a number of visitors per month to your website who are highly selected and ideal for your business, and I think that's worth an amount of money to you, right? So you get to start to develop a more formal business relationship because you've got the ammunition, you've got the information to do it. Now, importantly, right, this didn't happen by accident, right? We had to take some care to add all of the information to make sure that we knew where the people came from, right? And to instrument the page on which the outbound links occurred in order that we could get Google Analytics to compile the report for us. So that was actually quite an important set of preparatory things that we did. None of them in their own right were particularly hard, right? But having taken those precautions, we got enormous business value out of the report that we could then compile, right? And although it's a bit smaller, all right, this was that was because when we knew when people landed on the landing page where they'd come from, right? So we got in the behavior all pages, we got a primary dimension of the landing page, which was identified in this case by its name, but you could have picked the landing page, and a second dimension of source and medium, right? So as you can see, I've got the source and medium nailed down, right, in this example. Now, in many cases, there'll be another category called direct, and you have to work at that because Google throws everything that it doesn't understand into a bucket and calls it direct. So this is about making sure that your marketing campaigns go out there correctly tagged, right? And if you want more information about that, get in touch, right? So that you can identify the source of and the medium from which the traffic came. Okay, right. Final thing I want to say in terms of the information that I've already prepared, right, are that event naming conventions are just accepted definitions of terms. So we said we'll call it outbound referral. We said we call it brochure download. As I indicated, you can decide what you want those terms to be and organize them to suit yourselves. And it's a hierarchy. Within a category, sit actions. Within an action, sit labels, right? And that hierarchy enables you to organize what's going on and organize it so that you can make sense of the report. So get it right up front and instrument your website, and then the reports that come out make great sense. So that's really what I wanted to say, other than this is a good part of what I wind up doing, right? Helping people implement systems that make sure that their reports are meaningful and give them business information that enables them to take action. Okay, so if he says there are things that didn't make sense, you can put them into the chat box. Failing that, you can, I'm going to post a link, right? Because I'd like feedback on what you thought of today's session, and it would be good to learn what you'd felt we could do to make it better for you, right? So I'm going to press the button now, and the final screen are my contact details, so that you can contact me to ask further questions. There's my LinkedIn profile. Say hi, and if it makes sense, we'll connect. There's my email address, vernon.riley@kksmarts.com, and the website, and there are contact forms and stuff like that on the website. It's been good to talk to you this afternoon. I hope you found this useful, and I'll look forward to gathering ideas from you as to what you'd like us to cover in the near future. And I'll talk to you next time. Watch out for the email. So this is Vernon Riley saying bye for now.